I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. If you are sending your child to a college or university in the year 2023, you are not only wasting your money, you are putting your kid at serious risk of being indoctrinated. Now, of course, there's always exceptions. If your kid wants to be a nurse, a doctor, lawyer, engineer, something that requires higher education in order to get a job, then college probably your only option. But outside of specialized fields, college is a complete waste of time and money. You would be better off putting $100,000 in a barrel, lighting it on fire, and using it to stay warm on a cold winter night than giving that money to a university. The university system in America, it is the biggest scam that has ever been pulled off on young Americans. When I graduated from high school, 2003, back then, college was considered to be a requirement for lifelong success. We were told the only way you can succeed is to get your 4-year degree. Yeah, that was a lie. It's like telling a straight man the only way he can lose his virginity is to become a member of Club Shay Shay. I mean, technically, that's not a lie. A straight dude, he can definitely lose his virginity at Club Shay Shay, especially on Butt Bongo night, but it's just not what he had in mind during all those lonely nights spanking the wanker into his dirty sock. I happen to have a 4-year degree. You know how many doors it opened for me? None. When I was working in management and I was responsible for recruiting and hiring people, you know how many fucks I gave about what college they graduated from? None. Back then, the scam of college, it was designed to take your money. You give these universities tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in return, they give you a nice piece of paper. Sometimes they even would go the extra mile and frame it for you. Now, obviously, 99% of 18-year-old kids, they don't have that kind of money. So they have to go borrow it from Sally Mae, which just so happened to be backed by the federal government. Most of these colleges and universities, they are operated by the state. They lend you the money so you can give it right back to them. Then they charge you interest for the rest of your life. Every once in a while, they will dangle the woke wiener in front of you claiming that they're going to forgive your student loans. They get your hopes up. They get you feeling that you're finally going to be able to get ahead. Then they tell you that you're not qualified for student loan forgiveness. We regret to inform you that you don't qualify for student loan forgiveness. Your group doesn't meet our diversity standards. When I was in college, at least they were teaching us something. They were teaching us marketing. They were teaching us biology, physics. They were teaching us about technology. Now, sure, 99% of the stuff they taught us was completely useless in the real world, but at least they were teaching us something. They weren't trying to indoctrinate us. Today, most colleges and universities, not all of them, but most, they are no longer institutions of higher learning. Today, most of them have become indoctrination centers. As a parent, you spend 18 years of your life raising a respectable young man or woman. You teach them right from wrong. You teach them about Jesus or Buddha or perhaps Mother Mary. You spend your life savings by sending them off to college, hoping to set them up for lifelong success. What do you get in return? 4 years later, your son comes home as your daughter, or your daughter comes back home with pink hair, blonde beard, claiming she's the next Megan Rapinoe. Universities, they are no longer dedicated to educating students. They are dedicated to indoctrinating students. You don't take my word for it. Casey always comes with the examples. How many of you guys have ever heard of Marisa Moseley? Nobody? No one's heard of Marty before? That's okay, don't feel bad. I had never heard of her until earlier this afternoon. Marisa Moseley, she is a college basketball coach, and I use the term basketball loosely here because Marisa, she is responsible for training the future dump divers in the WNBA. She started her head coaching career with the Boston University Terriers. Ooh, what a powerhouse program. I actually like the name Terriers. Matter of fact, I have 2 terriers asleep inside of my house right now. One of them is named Chew, short for Chewie. We named her that because her face resembles Chewbacca from Star Wars. But don't be getting any weird ideas, Mike Freeman. I know you've been trying to seduce Chewbacca for years. My Chew is off limits. The other one's named Oreo. She's a party Yorkie. We named her Oreo because she has fluffy black and white hair. Both of my terriers, they have something in common with the former terrier Marisa Moseley. My dogs have won almost as many Division I college basketball games as she's won. None. After spending 3 years in Boston, Marisa Moseley, she was promoted from coaching almost basketball to coaching low-level pretend basketball at the University of Wisconsin. This week, the Big Ten, they organized media days for all the women's programs. Why? Hell if I know. You can't get people interested in men's college basketball until March. Why would anyone care about what coaches in women's basketball are talking about in the month of October? Although men's college basketball is not as popular as it was in the 90s and 2000s, the appeal of the sport is still the basketball on the court. They don't have to sell gimmicks. They don't have to create controversy to get on television. Every year, ESPN, ABC, Fox, FS1, they are going to broadcast hundreds of college basketball games. But with the women, it's a little bit different. Women's college basketball, they seem to be borrowing a strategy from the WNBA to get noticed. Every year, Dawn Staley is lecturing us on mythical racism. Every March, the media, they mistakenly call the women's tournament March Madness, all in the name of equity. But over the years, there's been something missing in women's college basketball. We have been given two of the main ingredients in the woke smoothie. We had the foundation ingredient of mythical racism. We had the added flavor provided by the equity. But all this time, we've been missing the topper. We've been missing that one key ingredient that would give us the true perfect woke smoothie. Diversity. Ooh, diversity. Give me 2 scoops of mythical racism, pour on that equity syrup, top it off with that creamy diversity. Drink that smoothie and you'll be a shit fuck in no time. But have no fear. Have no fear. Marisa Moseley, she is here to save the day. She's here to be our hero. I can be your hero, baby. Earlier today, she participated in a press conference to preview the upcoming season for Wisconsin. Now, my inside sources tell me that the room was completely empty, but one of the nerds from the IT department, they were smart enough to set up a camera to record the musings of Marisa Moseley. In a setting like this, you're expecting the head coach to talk basketball, tell you how training camp is going, tell us what to expect this coming season. Instead, Marisa Moseley, she pulled out her woke Bible and lectured us on the importance of diversity on her team. Watch for yourself.
You know, we're pretty much the United Nations. I have the first Indian woman to ever play at the Power Five. I have kids who are Nigerian and kids who are Dominican and kids who are Mexican and kids who are run-of-the-mill white, you know, because they're still there too. But no, so I think it's really important that, and my mom is white, just so no one is offended, my mom is a white woman.
First of all, can you imagine the level of fake outrage someone like Nick Saban would receive if he told the media he had run-of-the-mill black players on his team? Just to be clear, I was not offended by what Marisa Moseley said. I understood what she was trying to say. But if Nick Saban or Tom Izzo, Bruce Pearl, Rick Pitino, if they would have said the same thing, the media would crucify them. It would have been headline news across every mainstream media outlet in this country. But when Marisa Moseley says run-of-the-mill white players, the media is silent. I wonder why. I don't know anything about Marisa Moseley. Like I said, I had never heard of her until earlier this afternoon. So this is pure speculation on my part, but I think these comments that she made were calculated. I think she pointed this out to the media in an attempt to garner sympathy. Maybe, just maybe, Marisa Moseley is trying to save her job. For starters, we all have eyes. The diversity on your team, it doesn't need to be pointed out. We can see it. Now, to be fair, in her defense, most people don't see the diversity on this team because no one is watching women's basketball in Wisconsin. Their attendance absolutely horrific. But number 2, Marisa Moseley, she has got to celebrate her diversity dynasty because it's the only thing she can celebrate and be proud of throughout her tenure at Wisconsin. In 2 seasons, she has compiled a record of 19-40. Her conference record in the Big Ten, 11-25. Her team has never finished above 10th place. Obviously, she has never qualified for the women's tournament, or as the media prefers to call it, March Madness. Hell, with records like this, I doubt she qualifies for the Big Ten tournament, where the only qualification required is to show up. This team of diversity in Wisconsin, this team is no accident. This was done by design. But you know what this proves? It proves diversity doesn't work. You know who I want on my basketball team? I don't want representation from every country in the UN. I don't want to look at my team and see every color of the rainbow. You know who I want David Griffin to sign in New Orleans? I want him signing the best players. If Jonas Valanciunas is the best center that we can get and he happens to be white, sign him. When Zion Williamson is healthy, he's arguably the best player in the NBA. You think I care about his race, sexual orientation, or religion? No. All I care about is Zion staying healthy and winning basketball games. Marisa Moseley, she has built a college basketball team by recruiting players based on a racial quota. How's that working out for her? You're a fucking loser. And what makes it even worse, you're celebrating losing. We used to celebrate winners in this country. Hell, us normal people, we still celebrate winners. But at the University of Wisconsin, at least in the women's basketball program, they are not celebrating success because they don't have any. They're not celebrating winning, they're celebrating diversity. If this were the men's program, Marisa Moseley, she would have been fired. Not because of her ridiculous comments. She would have been fired because she's not winning basketball games. But if she has another losing season this year and happens to garner sympathy and attention from the mainstream media, it is going to be kind of difficult for Wisconsin to fire her. She's going to be viewed as the diversity coach, the ultimate victim. But give me your thoughts. Marisa Moseley, she builds the diversity dynasty in Wisconsin, which is all good besides the fact that she can't win games. What did you think of her comment on run-of-the-mill white players? Why do you think the media is ignoring that comment? You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. I appreciate you guys and your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.